I mean, I expect the best out of myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I want to do well. I want to perform well, and I know that I am capable of it. I expect a first round finish, so we'll see how that goes.
The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. PFL Challenger Series, February 24th. You're facing off against Griet Eeckhout, and her nickname is Painapple. Now, you have an interesting nickname, but Painapple, how would you rank that? That's pretty good, right?
I mean, it's clever. It reminds me of SpongeBob. I like SpongeBob, so I mean, it's a good one.
For sure, for sure. And when you look at her and her past record and watching some video on her, what do you think about her skill set?
Yeah, I think, I mean, she's tough, obviously. But I think as far as like how I compare to her, I think I'm on a higher level. I think my skill set's a little bit um, just more advanced, and I'm a lot taller than her, probably going to be a lot stronger. So I think it's a good matchup for me, but she's not going to be easy. Like, it's going to be a tough fight.
No doubt. And one thing that stands out about her is that she's been quite inactive. I think she's fought like twice in the last 3 years. Do you believe in ring rust?
Um, yes and no. It depends on the fighter. I mean, she could come in like the best version of herself, and I've never like, and it's not shown on video, right? Or she can just have been out of the game for a while and then like kind of like flops. We don't know. For me though, I went through 2 knee surgeries. I was out for like 3 years, and I came back like stronger and harder. I submitted a black belt in the 3rd round, so you never know. I'm just preparing for the worst of it.
With that long layoff that you had, were there a lot of mental battles like heading into the cage?
Oh yeah. So my record at the time was like 4-4, and I had 2 back-to-back knee surgeries, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, is this even for me? Like, is this a sign for me to give up or get out? But luckily I didn't. I've gone. I think I've won my last 2 fights, and then I got to go on the Ultimate Fighter. I made it to the semifinals, so I'm like really glad that I didn't give up during that time, even though it was one of the hardest mentally things like that I've gone through.
How close were you to putting away the gloves, and what got you to stay with the sport?
I mean, I thought the thought crossed my mind almost every single day, but I just kept showing up to the gym. I kept showing up to practice. I traded my like physical therapy as training, and I knew that like I wasn't done. Like I needed to like have at least like a couple more fights just for myself. I knew I was like probably like 28, 29 at the time. I'm like, I'm still pretty young. I can still do this, and I'm just on the verge of like really making it. So I knew I wanted to stick through it.
Your third fight was for Bellator. It's a pretty big stage, right, for a third fight, and it's interesting to me is because you started your career with back-to-back setbacks, and it's
Hmm.
very difficult. This job that you have, this occupation, you go to the gym and like car crash your body every day, so it doesn't feel good. It's not like you're sitting at an office desk. How massive was that victory for you, especially with the 2 losses?
Oh, that was so awesome. I mean, I knew they were bringing me in to lose. They wanted the other girl to win. I was 0-2 walking into the Bellator cage, and then I ended up winning, and I'm like, oh, okay, look at that. So I'm like, that was one of the coolest things, like to be able to get your first professional win on such a huge stage.
The next fight was against Tracy Cortez. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a big step up, right? Like after that.
Yeah. So I don't think Tracy Cortez was Tracy Cortez at the time. Like I was a bigger name than her, but we had a mutual loss. So we both lost to Sherry Muraski. So it was kind of like a 50-50 shot of who was going to win. But it was a pretty close fight. But Tracy's awesome. I think she's really cool, and I'm glad like that she's like so successful, and it's cool to see her career in the UFC.
Definitely. And the experience of that, has probably benefited you moving forward with your career as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see that I can just hang with someone like that.
2022, very interesting year for you. You spent a period of time with cameras all in your face 24 hours a day on the Ultimate Fighter. How did that experience shape your perspective of reality TV?
So I love reality TV, and I think it's so fun, and it was so much more fun being on the opposite side of the camera. So I think I love the attention and the spotlight. Like I think it's fun. I didn't take myself too seriously. I wasn't like going over the top with things. So I think just being able to experience like the other side of being on a reality TV show, it was like pretty cool and like super fun.
Yeah, it's great to see that you embraced it because we've seen in the past where the cameras kind of got to the fighters and they broke, like they broke themselves in front of everybody else, and it was kind of it's kind of a shit show after
Oh
that,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. I feel like they didn't show a lot of the things that they could have shown that like happened in the house. I'm like, why did they not put that on there? That would have been so juicy, but that's all right.
Yeah, for sure. How did the training that you did in the house or in the gym during that period, benefit you?
I mean, just being in such an uncomfortable environment, I think really benefited me. It, like pushed me outside of my comfort zone since I didn't have my normal coaches, I didn't have my normal team, I didn't have my normal training partners. I was training with girls that I could potentially be fighting, and so I think just being able to like mentally push through that really like helps me or is helping me in my career now.
After the show, you returned a couple months later and got a big win against Hannah Guy. I feel like Hannah Guy was
Mhm.
one of the major prospects for Invicta. And how did you feel about that performance? And did you feel like you got to show like more facets of your game?
Yeah, I definitely got to put like my striking out there. Like I knew I was on the verge of like making it to a really big show, so I wanted to really display that I belong there. I wanted to put like a stamp on it, and so I wanted to make sure that I either got like a finish or a really dominant performance. Um, but Hannah Guy, like her and I like got along really well in the house, and we also hung out like a couple times after the show. So it was kind of like interesting fighting like an acquaintance or like a friend, but it was a really good fight for me, I think.
Yeah, it was. It leads you. I guess you needed that victory to lead you to like a major promotion, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what. So yeah, I mean, so I had to put my friendship or my thoughts or my feelings aside during that fight, just turn off all my emotions and just go.
Eventually, that's gonna happen again. You don't want it
Yeah,
to happen again, but it's gonna happen again as you level up, right, and go higher in the ranks.
yeah, exactly. Luckily, I don't think I have any like close friends in the PFL right now, so I think we'll be
Yeah,
good. Oh,
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
lie. I actually have a teammate that's fighting the same night as me, Shanna.
Yes,
So
yes.
hopefully we don't end up fighting.
Yeah, hopefully. Is Who else are you training? Are you training with Shanna for this camp, and who else are you training with?
So I'm training with Shanna, JoJo Calderwood, Ramona, Carla, um, just all the girls at like Syndicate in Las Vegas. So I'm training with John Wood, who's the head coach there.
Those are like different weight classes right there, right? Like you got Ramona, who's basically a featherweight, and like how do you take advantage of like the different bodies that you have?
So with Ramona, I just try to stay striking and really work my striking. I don't want to wrestle her. She's just a little bit bigger than me, so she's pretty strong. But JoJo's my same weight class, and I mean, I like to work my takedowns against JoJo because her striking is like insane. Like she's so accurate and so good. And then Jiyeon Kim, she's fighting next Saturday. I like striking with her and I like shooting takedowns. So it's just kind of like fun to get so many different looks. And I think a lot of them are like either 125, maybe. I think Ramona's probably like the biggest one at like 145.
And a lot of you guys have fights. That's really a solid environment to be around. And you guys built like this women's team. Like I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it was out of nowhere, but it's like it just has accumulated into so many bodies.
Yeah, so I moved to Vegas, and I originally trained at Extreme Couture, and it had like a good vibe. Like I really liked it there. I like all the fighters there, but the girls team like wasn't really a thing there at the time because Misha Tate wasn't fighting, and so I think everyone kind of like dispersed. And then my manager's like, "Hey, you should just go try out Syndicate and see if you like it." And John reached out to me, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever, I'll go try it." And it was just like so different. Like it was such like a team environment. It was so fun, and then it was nice being able to go with so many different girls and get so many different looks. Because in Utah, I'm used to like being either the only girl on the mat, or I'm lucky if I get like one or two other girls. So it was like a totally different experience being able to like have so many girls to train with.
What do you expect in this fight coming up? I think there's expectations that people have of you entering this
Yeah.
Challenger Series. What do you expect out of yourself?
I mean, I expect the best out of myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I want to do well. I want to perform well, and I know that I am capable of it. I expect a first round finish, so we'll see how that goes.
And the prospects of being in a tournament that ends up with you winning $1 million in like a 8 month span, that's insane, right?
Yeah, that's definitely life changing for me. That's a lot of money for me, so I'm excited about that. Um, I think it would be awesome to like actually make like a decent chunk of change while I'm fighting.
Yeah. Uh, are people jealous in the gym that you have this opportunity? I would think like people would be, you know what I mean? $1 million opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They haven't brought it up to me if they
Mm,
are, but I think that people have been like nothing but like excited and supportive for
of
me ever
course.
since I announced it. So I think I got a lot of support.
Yeah, yeah. You have a great team out there. I've spoken with pretty much all your training partners, so they're
Oh, nice.
always, they're super nice. They're always great. And yeah, February 24th, PFL Challenger Series. Katniss, thank you so much for the time. All the best in entering the tournament for the $1 million, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.